A very big breaking news. Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Donald Trump Jr. have been subpoenaed by the New York Attorney General. This is, we are talking about Letitia James, who is a Democrat. Letitia James has been investigating the Trump organization for possible financial crimes. And we have learned yesterday that subpoenas have been issued for Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Donald Trump Jr. Now, what is at issue here, as a reminder, is what's the right word? I mean, is it scamming? Is it lying? It's the widely at this point accepted allegation that we heard from Michael Cohen and others that Donald Trump would lie one way or the other. The Trump organization would deceive one way or the other about the value of properties in order to achieve whatever goal they had. So basically the way it works is as follows. Imagine that you have a building that's actually worth $25 million. Just as an example, let's say you have a $25 million building. If you want to get a loan and you want a $35 million loan, when the bank says, what's your collateral? You say, I've got this building that's worth 50 million. Now, it's really only worth 25, but you say it's worth 50, so you can safely give me a loan of 35 million against it. But when the tax authorities come to you and they say, hey, this building, it's worth 25 million, so you're going to have to pay property tax on the basis of a $25 million value, you say, no. This building's only worth 10 million. This is a crappy little building. And you argue that it is worth less in order to reduce your tax liability. And that is, of course, fraud. It is fraud to do that. And that is one of the elements that is being investigated by the Attorney General, Letitia James. They have previously requested that Donald Trump appear. We have now learned that they have issued a subpoena for Donald Trump and two of his adult children to appear. And they have already announced their plans to refuse. ABC is reporting eldest children won't comply with subpoenas from New York Attorney General. Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump are now respondents in the civil case. They have refused to comply with subpoenas issued by the New York State Attorney General's office as it conducts a civil investigation into the way the family real estate business valued its holding. A dispute has arisen between the OAG and the individual Trump parties regarding the subpoenas. The document filed jointly by New York Attorney General Letitia James and an attorney for the Trump organization said Don Jr. and Ivanka will now be named as respondents in the inquiry, which parallels a criminal investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. As her investigation into financial dealing with the Trump organization continues, Attorney General James is seeking interviews under oath of Donald Trump, Trump Jr., and Ivanka. Despite numerous attempts to delay our investigation by the Trump organization, we are confident that our questions will be answered and the truth will be uncovered because no one is above the law. Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump sought to quash the subpoenas Monday evening in a motion. Alan Futerfoss, the attorney representing the Trump children, questioned the motives. Her office is also involved in the criminal investigation of Trump. He wrote, the goal of the subpoenas is all too clear. She seeks to circumvent the entire grand jury process and nullify moving parties' most fundamental constitutional and statutory rights by requesting they provide non-immunized testimony to the Office of the Attorney General when they and the District Attorney of New York are jointly conducting a grand jury investigation. So there's a couple different legal opinions here. One legal opinion is the ability of Congress to enforce subpoenas is somewhat vague, but the ability here to enforce subpoenas is unquestioned. There is no legal question as to the ability of the ability to enforce these subpoenas. But at the same time, they can show up and invoke their Fifth Amendment rights. And there are some limitations to that. One lawyer I spoke to said, you can really only invoke your Fifth Amendment rights when it is reasonable to believe that speaking could actually incriminate you, that there are circumstances where what you are being asked about could not reasonably be considered to incriminate you, and thus invoking your Fifth Amendment right would not be okay. Here, it genuinely does seem that they may have been involved in criminality. And so the likelihood that if they were pushed and forced to respond to the subpoena and provide testimony, that they would invoke their Fifth Amendment rights. If you ask 10 different lawyers, there's 10 different opinions about this. And so ultimately we have to wait and see. But much like all of the other things we've seen so far, this may also get no traction. But the fact that there were subpoenas is certainly noteworthy. And over the next 24 to 48 hours, we may well learn more about the fate of these subpoenas. Some say the walls are closing in. I still don't think Trump sees a day of jail or prison. I just don't see it. I'm not going to blow smoke in your nose or up anywhere of yours. We'll have more coverage of this on our Instagram, which you can find at David Pakman Show. Leave a comment there and let me know if you think anything will come of this. One of our sponsors is Self-Decode. Self-Decode is a genetic testing and analysis platform that gives you tools to gain insights about your health based on your DNA. This is a new technology. We're still learning so much about what of substantive value can we get from these types of results. But by using artificial intelligence and machine learning, you can get personalized insights based on your specific DNA, as well as getting lab test analysis and recommendations. Really, a lot of interesting ways to get information about yourself through the Self-Decode platform. They never sell your information. They never give away your information to anybody. Self-Decode sent me a DNA kit to get my saliva. I did the test, sent it back, and in just a few weeks, I had my results. I found, for example, that genetically, I'm not at big risk for kidney stones, not at big risk for asthma. Unfortunately, I'm at slightly increased risk of headaches, which is true. And the recommendations you get are really simple and logical things relating to sleep, relaxation, etc. Very, very interesting. And this is a technology that's going to develop and mature significantly over the next 5 to 10 years. Self-Decode is giving my audience 25% off when you click the link below and use the coupon code PAKMAN.